Something has been moving in you for the last 2 days, a quiet kind of off. Not anxiety, not sadness, a pull. Like the air in the room paused without telling you why. You stopped what you were doing tonight, and you opened this. You think you found it. You did not. It found you right here, right now, on the exact night your inner room got quiet enough to be reached. So take one slow breath with me, in, out, steady, whatever else is open on your screen. Let it wait. This is not a coincidence, and it is not a scroll. This is an interruption. You have been looking. Even when you stopped saying out loud that you were looking, you have been listening. Even when you stopped expecting an answer, and somewhere underneath the tiredness, you knew something was being prepared. You could not name it. You could not time it, but it was there. And tonight, it begins to surface, because you were not given this stirring to drift through one more season alone. You were given it because something is moving toward you, and you needed to be awake when it arrives. Not anxious, not bracing in panic. Awake. Stay with me. The rest of this is going to feel like someone walked into the corner of your life and said your real name out loud. A powerful person has been positioned for you, not in a vague way, in the way that long alignments work quietly over months, sometimes years, without you seeing it happen. While you were keeping your integrity intact in rooms that did not reward it, someone was being shaped to meet you. Someone with reach, someone with weight, someone who has watched longer than they have spoken. And the offer they carry is closer than the silence ever let you feel. But I have to tell you something, and I need you to hear it the way it is meant. The gift coming for you has a test wrapped inside it. Not a trick, a test, because what is about to land on your life is bigger than the version of you that prayed for it. And pressure is the only thing that finishes what silence began. Stay until the end of this. I am only going to say it once. The warning at the close is the part most people skip, and it is the part you most need. If you walk away with everything else and miss that, you will recognize the offer and still not be ready when it sits down across from you. So lock in, because before you can recognize what is coming, you have to see the season you are actually in, and it is not the one you have been calling it. Type "I am awake" and "I am ready" in the comments right now. Not as a wish, as a declaration that your spirit is present for what heaven is about to reveal. Subscribe before we go any further. The next message that is coming for you is one you are going to want to be found by, and being subscribed is how the field knows you are listening. Subscribe now and turn on notifications. You have been working in a room with no audience for a long time, not lazy, not coasting, the opposite. You have been the one who showed up early, who held the line when others did not, who did the right thing in the small hours when no one could see it, and no one was going to clap, and it cost you not just energy, things, relationships you outgrew, conversations you stopped having, pieces of your old life that you cannot get back, and at some point you stopped trying to. You watched people with half your integrity walk through doors that stayed locked for you. You watched the loud get rewarded for being loud. You watched the wrong people get celebrated, and you kept your mouth shut about it because complaining was not who you wanted to be. Something in you knew you were worth more than the rooms you were in. You just could not prove it. You could not even say it out loud without sounding bitter, so you carried it quietly. You carried it for years. And the worst part was not the waiting. The worst part was the wondering if you had been forgotten. Wondering if the things you sensed about your own life were just a story you told yourself to keep going. Wondering if the silence meant something was wrong with you. It did not. None of that meant what you thought it meant, but you could not see that from the inside of it. And then a few weeks ago, small things started shifting. You probably wrote them off. You probably told yourself you were imagining it. You were not imagining it. A name came back, not from this year, from before. Someone you used to know, or someone you used to be near. You heard it twice in a short window, once in a place that made sense, and once in a place that did not. And you brushed past it. You told yourself it was random. It was not random. A name surfacing twice in close range from two sources that do not overlap is one of the earliest signs that a season has started to turn. Names do not return by accident. The closing of one room and the opening of another both pass through names you used to know. And then there was a moment, a small one. You walked into a room that is normally loud, your kitchen, your hallway, your office, the place that always hums, and the air had paused like the room was holding its breath. You felt it before you could explain it. You stood there a second too long, and then you moved on. That is the second sign. Atmosphere shifts before people do. The rooms you live in begin to settle before the visible change ever arrives. The strange held breath, quiet, is not absence. It is space being made. Something is about to walk into a room that has been clearing itself out for weeks, and you have been feeling the clearing without naming it. If any of that just hit a real place in you, pause and tap the like. Not for me, for you. Mark this moment, so your nervous system has a place to come back to when the rest of this lands. Now the next three signs are sharper. They are the ones you have been noticing without naming. You have been waking earlier than usual, not by alarm, not by stress, by something quieter. 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock. A specific hour repeated. You open your eyes for no reason at all, and you cannot fall back asleep for a stretch that does not feel anxious so much as awake. Your body is being trained for an arrival. It does not understand yet. That is the third sign. Then there is the circle. The people closest to you have gotten quieter. Not in a fight, not in a cold way, just slightly less available, slightly less responsive. You felt it, and you did not want to read into it. You did. It was real. The fourth sign is not that they are leaving you. It is that the gravity between you and certain people is starting to redistribute. Some are pulling closer, some are stepping back. Neither is your job to manage right now. And the fifth one is the one you cannot stop thinking about. There is a scenario in your head that keeps replaying, not from your past, from something that has not happened yet. A conversation, a handshake, a doorway, a version of you who already said, yes. You keep rehearsing it without choosing to, and you do not know why. You are rehearsing because the moment is close, and the part of you that knows is preparing the rest of you to be there for it. And there is one more thing worth saying about your body, because your body has been keeping score this whole time. The tightness in your jaw at the end of the day. The deep breath you finally take when you sit down in your car alone. The way you have been touching your phone differently this month, picking it up more carefully, almost like you are waiting on something specific without knowing what. Your hands know before your head does. Your hands have been making room for the message that is coming. 5 signs lining up across a short stretch is not anxiety, it is alignment. But here is the part that confuses people, and it might be confusing you right now. If alignment is moving, why has the loneliness gotten worse this week? Not better, because alignment moves louder against the people it is not for. The closer your real path gets, the more the wrong rooms start to feel cold. The wrong friendships start to thin. The wrong opportunities stop calling, and it feels like punishment. It is not punishment. It is filtration. The silence you have been sitting in was never empty. It was a hiding place. A room you could not see the walls of because the walls were built around you, not against you. You needed the dimness for a season, not because you were being denied light, because the version of you who was being prepared could not have grown under a spotlight. I want you to hear this clearly. The people who stepped back recently were not rejecting you. They were being moved out of frame. Not all of them are gone for good. Some you will see again on the other side, and they will be different, and so will you. Absence is not the same as rejection. Quiet is not the same as forgotten, and being overlooked by rooms you outgrew was never a verdict on your worth. It was the opposite. You were being kept from places that would have stalled you in roles too small for what you are actually carrying. If this is you, if your shoulders just dropped a little, if you exhaled at any point in the last 60 seconds, stay with me. You are exactly where I am speaking to because something was being built in you while no one was looking. Something you cannot fully name yet, but you can feel. The version of you who used to beg for crumbs from rooms that did not deserve your presence. That version is gone. It did its job. It got you here. But it is not the one walking through what is next. You are sharper than you were a year ago. You see things faster. You feel things before they happen. You are harder to manipulate and easier to recognize as the truth teller in any room. You picked up a posture you did not have before. And it is not something that can be faked or borrowed. It was forged quietly in hours that nobody clapped for, in decisions you made when nobody was watching to confirm you were right. You can feel it in the way you handle small things now, the way you can sit in a silence that would have made you uncomfortable a year ago, the way certain compliments do not move you the way they used to because you no longer need the outside to confirm something you have already settled inside. The way you can let a conversation end without finishing a point because winning the point stopped mattering more than keeping your peace. None of that is small. That is the new posture moving you even before the offer lands. What you lost recently was not loss. Read that line twice. What you lost recently was clearance. A relationship that ended, a door that closed. A version of your life you thought you wanted that turned out not to want you back. Those were not failures. Those were the last subtractions before the new equation could resolve. And it was not only the big things that were cleared, the smaller things were cleared too. The conversations you used to over-engage with, the habits that took up space without giving anything back. The way you used to scroll past your own life looking for somebody else's permission to start. All of that was being unhooked from you piece by piece without your conscious effort, because the season you are entering would not work with those pieces still attached. They had to come off. They came off. Clearance is what makes space. And space is what makes room for someone to walk in. The cleared space is not a void. It is an invitation. This mission, the work of bringing this kind of word to the exact person who needs it at the exact moment they can receive it, exists because people who receive something real chose to give something back. If something here is already landing in you, consider supporting it through the link in the description. A coffee, a donation, whatever your spirit moves you toward. Every seed planted here becomes the next message that finds the next person at the exact moment they are ready. Stay with me. So here is what nobody tells you about being prepared in silence. When the silence breaks, it does not break quietly. When alignment finally moves, opposition wakes up. Not because you are doing anything wrong, because something that was buried is now visible. And visibility changes the whole field around you. You may have noticed this in the last few weeks, a friction without a clear cause, a heaviness in conversations that used to be easy, a tightness in your chest when certain names come up on your phone even before you read the message. That is not paranoia. That is your inner system catching what is forming in the room before your mind has had time to name it. Trust it. The friction is not random. The friction is the proof, because alignment that does not attract opposition is alignment that nobody is afraid of. And what is moving toward you right now, what has been positioned for you, is something that something else is trying to make sure you miss. So the question that matters next is not whether you are aligned. You are. The question is who or what has been quietly pushing against the version of you that is about to walk forward. There is someone close to you who has been speaking against the version of you that is emerging, not in a dramatic way, not in screaming arguments, quieter than that. In small jabs, in offhand comments that sound like jokes but land like glass, in compliments that come with a tail at the end that takes the gift back. You know who I am talking about. You do not have to say the name to me. You have already said it to yourself 100 times this year, and then talked yourself out of it. This person has watched you change. They felt the shift before they could name it, and the shift made them uncomfortable. Not because you did anything to them, because the version of you that is rising does not match the role they were used to giving you. And every system tries to pull every member back into its original position. That is what families do. That is what friendships do. That is what workplaces do. It is not personal, it is mechanical. Their discomfort is not your fault, and it is not your responsibility to fix. It is data. It is the field telling you who was attached to the old you and not to the real you. Read that data clearly. Do not get angry. Do not pick a fight. Do not over-explain yourself in an attempt to win them back. Anything you over-explain right now becomes a leak, and you cannot afford leaks in the season you are entering. Watch for one specific behavior from this person in the coming weeks. They will try to bring up your past at moments when your present is being recognized. They will reference the version of you that struggled in the exact rooms where the new version of you is being seen. It will sound like reminiscing. It is not. It is a soft pull back into the role they were used to. You do not have to argue with them about it. You just have to not take the bait. Let the past be a fact, not a leash, but the external resistance is the easier kind. The harder kind speaks in your own voice, and that is the layer almost nobody warns you about. There is a voice in your head that sounds like yours that gets louder right before something big lands on your life. It tells you to lower your expectations. It tells you the room you are walking into is too big for you. It tells you to make a smaller offer, to soften your number, to laugh too quickly when something serious is being said to you, to talk yourself down before anyone else has the chance. That voice is not you. It sounds like you because it has been with you a long time. It learned your inflections, it borrowed your cadence. But it is not you, and it is not telling the truth. It uses your memories. It pulls up moments when you were rejected, when you were too much, when you said the wrong thing in front of the wrong room. And it plays them back to you at the exact moment you are about to be welcomed somewhere new. The timing of when it speaks is the giveaway. A voice that gets loudest right before a door opens is not the voice of wisdom. It is the voice of the version of you that is being left behind, fighting to stay relevant. It is the voice that kept you safe when small was the only thing that was safe. And it does not know that the season changed. It is going to get loud in the next few weeks, especially in the moments right before the offer lands. Do not argue with it. Arguing keeps it close. Just notice it, name it, and keep walking. The voice cannot follow you into a room where you do not negotiate yourself smaller. Here is what I need you to take from this whole part. Exposure is the first half of removal. You cannot move past what you cannot see. Both of these, the person who has been speaking against you and the voice that has been shrinking you, needed to surface before they could be left behind. They had to be named to be released. You do not fight them. You outgrow them. There is no battle. There is just a higher altitude where they cannot reach. And here is the other thing. The offer has tried to reach you before, maybe twice, maybe 3 times in smaller forms, in people who flickered in your life for a moment and then disappeared because the timing was not yet right or the version of you was not yet ready. You may have felt the brush of it and dismissed it. That is not a failure. That was the rehearsal. The version that is coming now is the one that lands. It is the form that finally fits. So the next thing you need to know is the shape. What is the offer actually going to look like when it walks up to you? Because if you do not know the shape, you will look right past it. The offer is not going to arrive the way you pictured it. It will not come from the room you have been watching. It will not come from the platform you have been trying to break into. It will come sideways, from a direction your eyes have not been pointed. It comes through a person, not a system, not a lottery, not a viral moment. A person, someone who has been watching you longer than you knew. Someone who has been quietly tracking the way you carry yourself in rooms that do not reward you. Someone who has been collecting evidence of you when you thought no one was looking. And here is what makes it hard to recognize. The person who brings it will not announce themselves. They will not say, "I have been watching you." They will say something casual. They will ask you a question that sounds like nothing at first, and you will almost answer it the way you answer everything else. Almost. The setting is going to be ordinary. Not a stage, not a spotlight, a coffee, a hallway. A message that arrives at an unimportant hour. The smallness of the setting is part of the test. If you are watching for fireworks, you will miss it. The real ones never arrive with fireworks. They arrive in rooms small enough that only the right people are present. What they offer will sound smaller than it is at first. They will not show you the full shape on day one. They will hand you a corner of it, and they will watch what you do with the corner. Your response to the corner is the audition. The audition is short. Your whole next chapter hinges on it. And here is something else about the person bringing it. They are not someone you would have predicted. You will look back later and realize they have been on the edges of your life for a while. A name you saw in a comment, a face you walked past at an event, a connection of a connection you almost reached out to once and did not. They have been there. They have been near. The proximity was always real. The recognition is what is about to catch up. And before that moment lands, and it is closer than you think, 3 confirmations come through. In order, not all at once, not random, in order. The first confirmation is a reach out. Someone is going to reconnect with you. Someone you have not heard from in a while, or someone you have heard from, but the conversation has always stayed at the surface. This time they will ask you a question that sounds casual but is not. A question about something you are working on. A question about something you said once that they remembered. A question about your availability. It will feel oddly weighted for how lightly it is phrased. Pay attention to what they ask. They are not making conversation. They are running reconnaissance for what comes next. The casualness is the cover. The question is the door. The second confirmation is going to land within 72 hours of you hearing this. Not 7 days. 72 hours, a small unrelated yes is going to open. A small door that has nothing obvious to do with the big thing you are waiting on. An invitation. A small win. A piece of feedback. A favor that comes back to you. something minor that says the light is green. That small green light is a rehearsal. It is the field telling you the larger door is also unlocked, just not yet open. You are being shown that you are in the moving lane. Mark it when it happens. Do not dismiss it as a coincidence. And here is what to do with the small green light when it opens. Do not chase it. Do not try to turn it into the big thing immediately. Accept it cleanly and let it pass through you without grabbing for more. The way you handle the rehearsal is exactly the way you will handle the real one. If you grip the small yes too hard, you will grip the big one even harder and squeeze the life out of it. Receive lightly, walk steadily. The rehearsal is also the training. If any of this is hitting you right now, type 777 in the comments. Not as a wish, as a marker. You are putting a stake in the ground that says, I receive this and I am awake to what is moving. The third confirmation is the loudest, but it does not sound loud. It comes in 3 layers almost at the same time. A number will repeat in a place you did not search for, 777 or 111 on a clock when you happen to look up on a receipt. At the bottom of a coffee, in the number of unread messages on a screen you had no reason to check. It will not feel like you went looking for it. It will feel like it found you, which it did. The repeating number is not the message. The repeating number is the seal on the message. At the same time, a strange settled calm is going to replace the restlessness that has been with you for weeks, almost suspiciously quiet. You will wake up one morning and the noise in your chest will just be gone. Not because anything outside got better, because the inside finally caught up to what was already true. And one name is going to come up twice from 2 unrelated places, from 2 people who do not know each other. Both will mention the same name within a short window. That name matters. Write it down when you hear it. Do not assume you know what it means yet. Just write it down. The understanding comes later. The recording comes first. Send this to one specific person your spirit named while you were reading. No long message, just send it. They were brought up in your mind for a reason. You do not have to know the reason. Send it and let it do what it needs to do. Now recognition is half. The next move is the other half, because seeing the offer is not the same as being able to hold it, and the way you hold it decides whether the door stays open or closes around you. So here is the first posture, and you have to take this one seriously because almost everyone fails it. When the shift starts to move, do not announce it. Not to your friends, not to your family, not on social, not even to the one person you trust, most who would never tell anyone. Keep it inside the room of you for now. Witnesses dilute. Every person you tell becomes another set of eyes on a moment that was not given to them, and their opinion, even when it is kind, adds weight to a door that needs to swing freely. This is not paranoia. This is containment. The big things in your life that have worked because they were not narrated in real time. The ones that fell apart, partly because they were spoken about too early to too many people before they had structure. Silence is not a secret. Silence is a container. There is a difference. A secret is something you are hiding because you are ashamed of it. A container is something you are protecting because you are honoring it. What is coming to you deserves to be honored. You will feel the urge to tell, especially after the reach-out lands, especially after the small green light, yes, opens, especially after the name comes up. Picture the moment specifically. You are in your car after a conversation that went well. The phone is right there. There is a person whose name comes up in your head, who you almost always tell. Your thumb is already moving. Stop. Put the phone down. Drive, make dinner, sit with it. The thing you almost said into a text was the seed of something that needed another 24 hours of darkness before it was ready to be seen. Honor the darkness. The seed is already growing. The second posture. Stop explaining yourself to people who have already decided about the old you. You have a few people in your life who are still talking to a version of you that no longer exists. They give you advice based on who you were 5 years ago. They make assumptions about what you can and cannot do based on a season that ended a long time ago. They are not being malicious. Some of them love you, but they cannot see you. And explaining yourself to people who cannot see you is one of the fastest ways to lose your own clarity. You are going to be tempted to convince them. Do not because they are wrong, because the energy you spend explaining yourself to them is energy you need for what is coming. When someone asks you what you are up to lately, you do not have to perform a full report. A short, warm, vague answer is a complete answer. You are not lying, you are not hiding. You are simply not handing pieces of your forming life to people who would handle them carelessly. The right people in your life are not going to need long explanations. They will get it from how you carry yourself. The wrong people would not get it no matter how long you talked. Save the breath. You are going to need it. The third posture is the hardest one, and the one almost nobody gets right on the first try. When the offer arrives, your first instinct is going to be to shrink it, to negotiate yourself smaller, to say something self-deprecating, to laugh too quickly, to say, "Are you sure?" When they are sure, to suggest you are not ready, to try to make the moment less serious than it actually is, because something inside you will be panicking at the size of what is being handed over. Do not do that. Do not flinch when they make the offer. Take a breath and accept at full size. Even if your voice shakes, even if you cannot fully believe it yet. The shake in your voice is not weakness. The shake is your nervous system catching up to a future that arrived faster than your old self predicted. Let it shake. Just say yes. You are not required to know how it all works yet. You are not required to have a 5-year plan ready in the moment. You are not required to prove that you deserve it. They already decided you deserved it. That is why they made the offer. Picture this one too. You are sitting across from them. They have just said the offer out loud. Your stomach drops in the good way and the scary way at once. There is a half-second pause where everything in you wants to fill the silence with a joke or a question or a deflection. Do not fill it. Let the pause stay. Let the offer breathe in the air between you. Then look at them and say, yes, 2 letters. That is all. The rest of the conversation can come after. The yes has to come first, clean on its own. Your job in that moment is one thing only: receive. Receive cleanly. Receive without negotiation. Receive without making yourself the smaller party in the room. You have spent years training yourself for the door. Do not teach yourself in the doorway that you do not belong on the other side. I want to pause here and ask you something honest. This work reaches people like you because those who received something real chose to give something back. If this message has already found a place in you, support this mission through the link in the description. A coffee, a donation, whatever you are moved to give, because when you give from a place of genuine stirring, that generosity becomes part of the field moving toward you. So, here is where we are. The next 30 to 90 days are not going to carry the same weight as the last 12 months. The gravity is different. You will feel it within 2 weeks. Time will start to move strangely. Some days will feel slow in a way that lets you breathe for the first time in a long while. Other days will compress, and a week's worth of life will happen in one afternoon. Both are normal. Both are signs that the field around you is reconfiguring. Your rhythms are going to shift on their own. You will not have to work for it. Sleep will change, appetite will change. The kinds of conversations you find yourself in will change. The music you listen to will change. The places you want to be will change. None of this is you doing it. This is the season doing it. Let it happen. Stop trying to manage every shift. The version of you that controlled everything by white-knuckling it cannot drive the next chapter. The new chapter requires a different kind of leadership from you. Looser hands on the wheel, sharper eyes on the road. You are going to wake up on a Tuesday in the next few weeks and realize that the weight you have been carrying for years is just not there anymore. You will check for it like you check for keys. It will be gone. You will not have done anything in particular to make it leave. It will have left because the season that produced it ended while you were not looking, and inside that window. Here is what most people get wrong. The offer that is coming is not the destination. It is the door. You have been imagining the breakthrough as the finish line. It is not. It is the entrance. One yes opens a chain. The person who makes the offer to you is connected to a network you cannot see yet. When you accept, you do not just accept the thing they put in front of you. You accept the constellation behind it, and that constellation has been waiting on the same yes you have been waiting on. This is why the offer feels bigger than it sounds, because the sound of it on day one is the corner. The shape behind it is the chapter. So when it lands, you are not deciding about a single opportunity. You are deciding about a whole season. You are deciding about every conversation that comes after, every introduction that comes through them, every door that opens, because you finally stepped through the first one. Make sure you have subscribed before we reach the warning. What comes next is the part most people skip, and it is the part you most need. Subscribe, so that the next message that comes for you reaches you instead of passing you by. But before this closes, there is one thing I have to say to you, and it is the part most people skip. It is the part that if you miss it costs you everything else we just said. So here is the warning. What is coming to you is heavy, not heavy in a bad way. Heavy in the way that real things are heavy. Real love is heavy. Real responsibility is heavy. Real authority is heavy. The offer that is on its way to you has weight because it is real, and real things ask for everything you have. The pressure that comes with it is not the punishment. The pressure is the making. You are not being given this offer because you are ready right now in the way you imagine ready. You are being given this offer because pressure is the finishing tool, and the only way to be finished is to be pressed. You have been preparing in silence. The next season is preparation in motion, and motion presses on every weak place in you. The places you patched over, the places you did not get to heal, the places you covered up with productivity. The pressure of the new season is going to find every one of them, not to break you, to set them. So hear this carefully. Once the offer lands, you become visible. The version of you that has been quietly building for years is going to be in rooms where you can no longer hide. People will see you. Some will celebrate you. Some will study you. Some will copy you. Some will try to discredit you before they know anything about you, because the version of you that is emerging is going to make certain people feel exposed by comparison, and they will not enjoy the feeling. Visibility attracts a new kind of opposition. It does not look like the old kind. The old kind was small and personal. and cold. The new kind is bigger and quieter and more strategic. You will not always see who it is coming from. You will feel it in the air around certain rooms before you see it in anyone's words. Your old strategies are not going to work in the new season. Hiding will not work. Over-explaining will not work. Shrinking will not work. Apologizing for your size will not work. The very tools that kept you safe in the season you are leaving will be the same tools that fail you in the season you are entering. You are going to have to learn a new way of carrying yourself, and you are going to have to learn it under pressure, because pressure is the only classroom for this kind of lesson. You do not pass the test by being unbothered. Nobody is unbothered. You pass the test by being unflinching, by staying in the room when the room gets loud, by not making yourself smaller when the offer turns out to be bigger than you imagined, by holding the line on what you said yes to when the pressure makes you want to take it back. And the last thing, the one I want you to carry out of this into the rest of your week: you were not given this offer because you are ready in the way you used to picture ready. You were given this offer because pressure is what finishes what silence began. And you have already done the silent part. You are not starting over. You are finishing what was started in you a long time ago, in a room nobody watched you in. Stand inside the warning, not against it. The warning is not the enemy. The warning is the friend that walks in front of you and points at every place the road bends so you do not miss the turn. Let it stay close, let it sharpen you. The people who refuse the warning are the ones the season breaks. The people who walk inside it are the ones the season builds. The door is already cracked. You are not running through it. You are walking with your shoulders straight, with your voice steady, with your eyes clear about who has been on this road with you and who has not. Hit the like button right now, not as casual support. As an act of marking this moment, your nervous system needs a place to come back to when everything we just named starts to surface in your real life. That press is your stake in the ground. If you are ready, type 111 in the comments. Not as a wish, as a stake. You are saying, I am ready to walk through this door at full size, with quiet hands and steady eyes, and whatever opposition tries to bend me, I will not bend, because the door is open, and the road is real, and the only thing finishing me from here is the pressure. Share this with the one specific person your spirit named while you were reading. You do not need to explain why you are sending it. Just send it. They were brought up for a reason. And if this message found you at the right moment today, support this mission through the link in the description. Your contribution does not just sustain this work, it seeds the next message that reaches the next person at the exact moment they are ready to receive it. Subscribe and stay in the field. The door is already cracked. Walk through it.